All right. Welcome back to Nick Lenz Comic Corner, classic slash non-classic. This is episode number 2620 and Doubleshot number 2514. First up, we're discussing the end of Justice League America, where we're discussing the last annual release for this book, along with the last 11 issues 103 to 113. First up we have is annual number 10. And it was the last annual published for Justice League for about 2 years. 2 or 3 years, I think. So this came out in 96. So last released for a couple years before they did the first annual for JLA, which I Justice League 8. Yeah, this is mostly the Justice League trying to operate in a post-apocalyptic world. This annual was written by Christopher Priest, which was, I think this may have been the last annual he wrote. The artwork is gorgeous in here, by Sergio Carlito. Yes, and the line for this book, for this Justice League team, is Blue Beetle, Mr. Miracle, Guy Gardner, Captain Marvel, and Dr. Fate. And Captain Atom is here too. Yeah, they're basically all Booster Gold's here as well. Along possibly like Black Canary. It's basically them trying to operate in a. It's just a story in a post-apocalyptic world. You have just a lot of stuff related to it. It's like, oh, Legends of a Dead Earth. It's a really interesting idea. Got good artwork, but not much else to say about this book. All right, moving on to issue 103. We're going to count on the very end of this book. So, what issue 103? Now, basically for the last of it, it's still Joe Jones. Mostly put, it's basically for a lot of these issues, we have Crimson Fox trying to seduce Metamorpho a lot of the time in these issues. Yes, seriously. That is one of the plots here. This issue here is all about that. And also, Ice is trying to seduce Ice. Ice tries Fire, because Ice is a lesbian. Yep, this one anyways is basically a new one because the original one died just prior to this one. Blue Devil is here, and I'll talk more about basically about what my theory of why this book had to end when it did, because you might find it quite interesting. So, line for this very issue is Metamorpho, Crimson Fox, Blue Devil. Here we go. Fire, Ice Maiden, Nucleon, Obsidian. You're thinking, wait, why is Nucleon Obsidian here? Because they joined the team. And they're taking on a guy called the Penunter. Yeah, this weird guy who gets killed off the very next issue. Yeah, he actually he made a return after appearing in issues just like the Europe issue 23-24. He returns these two issues and gets killed off in issue 104. Also, one of the Crimson Foxes die. Yes, it is it's the second one who died, because let's see, who debuted first. Both debuted the same issue, but this is the first one who dies. Yeah. So she gets killed off along with Le Fantôme, who is basically the husband of Vivian. Yeah, he gets killed off too, and he just showed up like not that long ago. And Peronto dies too. In issue 105 and 106 is the Underworld tie-in, where they take out a group known as the Killer Elite, led by Deadshot, along with Bolt, Deadline, Chiller, and Merlin. Yes. Now the Killer Elite, they have 5 appearances they appear in. They appear in issues 105, 106, a Secret Files book issue Flash, and New Year's Evil Body Doubles. It's a quick 2-parter, and the book basically had the lead in where Obsidian is trying to kill himself. Power goes back in this issue, and then we have this guy called Scarabus, who they fight in issue 107. Who turns out is, you can find it interesting. This guy, Scarabus, is in fact the father of Power Girl's baby. Yep. Yes, sirree. Yeah, this baby have been ringing since 0 hour. Like, oh, we have it where Power Girl's got a mysterious baby. And then, like, with the very next issue, he's gone. Yeah, it's a quick, like, 3-parter that deals with the whole Power Girl's baby thing. It's like basically that Gerald Jones just probably had to do this. Oh, by the way, at this point, just like went away, basically, just getting toward the end of the book. This issue lineup is Obsidian, Nucleon, who's later became, I think, Atom Smasher, Power Girl, Wonder Woman, Blue Devil, Crimson Fox, Fire, Hawkman, Ice Maiden, and Wally West Flash. They kind of wrap up the story of 108, and then 109 deals more Metamorpho stuff. And Guy Gardner's appears here as a supporting character, not as the star of the team. We have El Diablo, who I think is the original El Diablo. Yes, it's the original one. Who is a Gerald Jones character. He just features him here as a guest star. Yeah, he's just a guest star. And he's here for some of the remaining issues. He actually first up issue 42, and then he appears 108, and then he appears 110, 111, and 113. So yeah, he's here as a guest star. He does not, as far as I can tell, he does not officially join the team. No. And of course, Kilgore, yeah, he comes back, the old villain who, well, basically trying to manipulate Maxwell Lord. Yeah, he comes back here for one last time before the book ends. Yep. And then basically these last 3 issues is like, oh, let's have basically where 7 members of the Justice League America get kidnapped by galactic slavers and try to sell to slavery, and have the book end with them basically escaping. Yeah. And you can see why this book ended, because it's like, this does not feel like the Justice League at all. Nope, it does not. Yeah. And apparently, let's see. The very next month, it got relaunched as a mini-series, Justice League Midsummer's Nightmare, which, that probably proved to be a lot better for Justice League at that point. But, yeah, for the main book itself, read these issues, you can see why DC had to refresh this book, because, the lineup was completely unrecognizable. I mean, yeah, you have Power Girl and you have Fire, Ice, but oh yeah, any familiar characters you have? Nope, they're all gone. Yeah. So it's like, okay. Yeah, it's like, yeah, I could definitely see why the book had to end when it did. It probably was necessary because, well, here's the reason why the book ended. The book was simply very hard in the sale. This was also mid-90s. So, I guess DC figured, though, we need to see this book. We love Justice League, but the book is not selling. My guess is that the lineup is completely recognizable. People probably don't like the lineup. People think, this is not Justice League. This feels like some random characters people put in the book. That's my personal theory, what DC probably did. So they end the book when they did. At issue 1 of 13, it's surprising to last that long. And, well, that's it for Justice League America. Final thoughts on this book as a whole. First up is basically to Gerald Jones' run. I don't think Gerald Jones is a bad writer. It's just that I would say the start of his run was actually pretty good. Yeah, I'd say probably the first half of it was. This part was just okay. at best. It felt as though basically that the book ran completely out of steam. By the time, like, we got a close issue 100 and the book just ran out of steam. It just fell apart. It felt as though also that Joe Jones probably wanted to include more characters, or he probably was told he couldn't. It's like, if you read this book, like, this is not Justice League. This feels like a team of random characters who people do kind of know of, part of this team. I mean, if you look at it, the only familiar character we have here that's a big name is Wonder Woman and maybe Flash. And that's it. But the book, when it first started Justice League, was excellent. Keith Gibb and Danny DeMatteis did an excellent job with the book, doing the first 60 issues of the book, and then you have Dan Jurgens doing the next 15, and then Dan Brito, who did a pretty decent job with the book. But you can definitely see the seeds of basically a book start slipping downhill. I'd say that Joe Jones kept it up a bit, but right after 100, it just going down, down, down. And then, like, it just bombed out. And I think that DC, when it ended 113, probably was basically a saving grace. The book managed to last that long. That we have a book end at this number in the 90s. But with this, we're done with this book. Yep. So, what's replacing this book? Simple. Justice League America Volume 1. Starting with issue 42. Yes, I'm going to try to go through the Silver Age stuff, and then on to the Bronze Age stuff by Jerry Conway. Yep. So I'm going to give Justice League America issues 103 to 113 along with the annual. The annual, I'm going to give that roughly a 9, because it had really good artwork. I like that. But in the case of the last 11 issues, give that 8.5. Sad to say. Alright, next up we have is Teen Titans, volume number... This is volume number 12, the third to last straight to click issue from this volume. This book collected from Teen Titans, volume 3, issue 71 to 78. Not going to discuss 71 because that was already collected in the Ravager trade. Yep, Ravager Fresh Hell, which they collected that issue too. Yeah, I remember seeing it there, but it's mostly put basically all the back. The whole point of 71 is a prologue to the backup feature. That's all it is. And then we have 72 to 76. Where basically, like, it feels as though basically, like, while Beast Boy is on this roster, Raven gets affected, and this is a storyline they had put on hold because of the Blackest Night stuff. Yeah, it's mostly put basically starting out with the team taking on the Fearsome Five. Schemer, Monmouth, and Jinx. But not the entire team. Yeah, and it's mostly assembled by the Calculator, who also wants to torture his own son, who at this point is supposed to be dead. Yeah. And then we have debut of a character named Rumble, who joins the Fatal Five with this story arc, and he appears for next issue, and he disappears in issue 20. Yep. But I do love the Child's Play issues. By the way, the writer of these issues is Brian Q. Miller. And here's a little something you might find interesting. At the same time writing these very issues, he was also writing Batgirl. Yep, he wrote Batgirl. Yep. So, by age 74, Kid Devil dies. Yep, he gets killed off in this issue, in issue 74. Yeah. And also, Giger dies. Yeah, he debuted in Blood Him and gets killed off in this issue. And then would lead to issue 75, which is a double-sized issue. It's called Wild Thing. So apparently Child's Play got wrapped up with issue 70 was a quick three-parter. And then we have Felicia D. Henderson take over the book for a couple issues. Yeah, it's mostly put basically the Teen Titans versus Wild, a brand new bag of the alleged son of Raven. And he only appears about 9 times. Yeah, he appears in 75, 76, and then returns for 81, 87. Yeah, we're in this two-parter. Basically, Raven gets washed up to the shore after being affected by something, and then, of course, basically treat her. They contact Dr. Midnight, and he comes via hologram projection. And, of course, basically, like, Beast Boy, like, gets chastised by Wonder Girl, Cassie Sandmark, for not reacting over the fact that, that Raven's acting out of control. And he's like, I understood this. And of course, basically, he does question her leadership skills. And then, right after this two-parter has to, and here's the weird thing. The two-parter has to roughly stop at 76 because the next 2 issues are the Blackest Night tie-in. Yep. Because, that story, yeah, it was supposed to lead to, it basically, this two-parter led into the Raven, Hunt for Raven storyline, which was really good. This two-parter, 77, 78, which, by the way, the Ravage Rebecca features took 2 issues off for this. So, in this book, Rose confronts her father at his home, and then because Blackest Night's going on, so let's have it where they're confronted by Black Lantern versions of Billy Wintergreen, who died back in issue 2 of this very book, Adeline Kane, who died in issue 12 of Titans Volume 1, Grant Wilson, Deathstroke's first son, his firstborn son who got killed in New Teen Titans number 2 back in 1982, comes back as a Black Lantern zombie, and Jericho returns, but he's apparently got his eyesight back at this period of time. So they fight off these horde of zombies. It's really cool, fun two-parter. And then Rose points out, though, her mom was not here. So she thinks there is a possibility your mom. She's like, there's a possibility my mom might be alive. And Deathstroke's like, that's impossible. She's dead. And she's like, if she was dead, where was her zombie? And she walks go back to her Becca feature. Really interesting story. Really interesting there. Yes, the fact they did this. Yeah. Now, those of you curious though, Rose's mom is Lily Worth, who did die in Deathstroke the Hunted number 45. Now, she of course theorized her mother might be alive, but she wasn't there. Though, of course, they also had another character named Wade LaForge. Who is Wade LaForge? He is Deathstroke's brother. He got killed off in the half issue for Teen Titans back in 2004. Mm-hmm. Yes, and he demanded that Rose call him Uncle Wade. Yeah, I'm like, is this a joke on Deadpool? I don't know, but yeah, and 78 is a homage to New Teen Titans number 1 and issue 2. Yeah, they fight him off, and it's interesting that the fact they also fight off against a zombie version of Superman Earth 2, Terra. Yeah, so really good two-parter. Really enjoyed it. Yep. Oh, and who writes this two-parter? J.T. Kroll, who does an excellent job with this book. Yep, I'm going to give these issues a 9 out of 10. Really good. Yep, there's 2 more trades left to go for this book. And for this volume, and that's it. Next movie, team building. Yep. Yeah, so in the case of Titans Volume 2, there are technically only 4, there's 3 trades that were released. I own one of them. But when I get to it, I'm probably going to start with Fractured. Though I'm also discussing the issue that's not collecting that trade. For reasons, I'm 2 issues that collecting that trade. For reasons unknown, these 2 issues collecting that trade, we'll discuss in the future when I get to it. Yep, so yeah, that's that particular review. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Turn notification on YouTube channel. And I'll probably just go ahead and watch Case Closed right now. I could, but I got a stream to do in like 30 minutes. So, yeah, maybe if I get time, I might get a chance to do it later. Who knows? Okay, next video.